Yes.
Former intelligence officials told Fox Schrier's theory is more than plausible.
That's a big allegation to make.
I can prove it.
Schrier wrote a memoir about his imprisonment and escape. It's titled The Dawn Prayer, set to hit the shelves on Tuesday. Matt Schrier joins us live in studio now. Matt, thanks for being here this morning. You investigated your own kidnapping, and what did you find?
Found some very disturbing facts. At first I thought it was incompetence, but the more I dug, the larger the pattern became, until obviously it was not coincidence. I found emails from the FBI trying to convince my mother I was okay. 6 months in, I found records of them buying laptops and tablets. The FBI said they froze my bank accounts. Agent Lindsay Perotti, that turned out to be a lie. She left them open so that they can continue to steal the money and buy laptops. Citibank eventually froze them over 6 months in. The same day Citibank froze them, she sent my mother an email telling her that my accounts had been frozen. More proof that they were monitoring my financial records and lying about it. The list goes on. She hacked into my PayPal account illegally, told my mother that she had a subpoena for PayPal. I called PayPal. No subpoena exists. It's just one thing on top of another. They never told my father I was kidnapped, which is one of the reasons why they were trying to convince my mother I was okay. They knew they were estranged, didn't want her to tell him. And eventually, my mother got into my AOL account because the FBI said they couldn't get subpoenas for Facebook, they couldn't get subpoenas for AOL. My 65-year-old mother calls AOL, tells them what's happening. They give her a temporary password. She gets in, sees all these purchases are being made. The FBI pretends they don't know.
Like what? What were the purchases?
Laptops, tablets, boots. They practically rebuilt a Mercedes with car parts. They bought a Kama Sutra guide, cologne. I mean, there were over hundreds of purchases.
So you gathered all of this evidence, and have you presented that to the FBI?
I have tried. They will not look at the evidence. I have faxed evidence to the FBI's internal investigation section. No response. I made an in-person complaint at their office in Miami. No response. I faxed complaints to the Inspector General. No response. The OPR. No. They responded, I have to contact the FBI.
Robert Mueller was head of the FBI at the time of your capture.
Yes.
Then obviously James Comey took over until he was fired last May. Have you heard anything directly from either of them or written either of them?
I wrote James Comey emails, no response. Sent him a message on Facebook and he blocked me. It's absurd to think that they didn't know. They had to know. This is an entire section in the FBI working with other organizations. CIA is definitely involved because it's an overseas activity on 3 different continents. The director has to know about something like that. It has to be sanctioned. This was not an investigation. This was an operation, and I was basically the bait.
So you feel that they did all of this, the FBI, for their own intelligence gathering. They sacrificed your safety.
Correct.
Is what you're telling. And why are you coming forward with this story now?
I needed to do it on the right network with the right people, and I think now's the right time. With my book coming out, it's in the book, so I can't write a book without mentioning this. It would be a little unfactual, but now seems like the right time, especially with everything with the FBI dropping the ball in Parkland. 17 people died. It's just one thing after another with this organization, and it really does need to be gutted from the inside out. Well,
the FBI has provided us with a statement, and they are saying this, quote, since his return home, we have worked with our partners in the U.S. government to provide Mr. Schrier with a full range of services and guidance to help him rebuild his life, as we do all our victims. However, it is at the discretion of the victim to accept and implement these resources. Have you been offered those services and guidance?
What I got were the same benefits illegal aliens get. When I went to the doctor, I was having trouble sleeping after what I went through, asked for Ambien. He refused to prescribe it to me because he said it was a narcotic. He doesn't believe in narcotics. They gave me a shrink who canceled 5 appointments my first 2 months home. Took me 6 months to get identification. It was just one thing on top of another. Because my credit is so bad, they wouldn't give me a new Social Security number. I was having trouble getting an apartment because my credit was shot for not paying my bills for 7 months. We can't give you a new Social Security number. You're basically on your own, was their answer for everything.
Since you have come forward publicly with your story, I know that you said that you've now heard from other families.
I've heard from other families that were affected by the tragedies that happened in Syria, and I hope this gives them a chance to have their voices heard, for them to step up, because their hearts were broken and a lot of people weren't really listening. when they said that they thought the government was doing the same thing to them, using their loved ones to gather intelligence because people probably just assumed they're brokenhearted. Well, now there's documentation, there's evidence. I want to hand it over to the authorities. It's the Department of Justice's responsibility to accept it now.
I know you've been very careful to say that you're not out here to say the FBI as a whole. They're not all bad actors.
Of course not.
You're talking about a few.
I'm talking about Agent Lindsay Perotti, who ran my case, the people she reports to, and the directors at the time.
What do you think is going to happen? The FBI has also told us this is still an open investigation.
Well, they're going to keep saying that. It's been 5 years. They have 2 people in custody. Canadians that interrogated me for all this financial information, 3 of them have moved back. They're living free. They have evidence. They kicked in their doors. They confiscated the laptops they bought and tablets. They will not arrest anyone.
Matt Schrier, 7 months in 6 different al-Qaeda prisons. You returned to the U.S. in 2013. You're telling your story now. Thanks for being here this morning and telling it here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Kinda, huh?
Yeah, right.
In a moment, a Capitol Hill hearing on Facebook is now officially a go. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg will testify. So what are we about to learn about our own data and the use thereof?
Plus, President Trump now responding to a retired Supreme Court justice who called for the end to the Second Amendment. What the president is now saying.
We are going to protect, 100% protect our Second Amendment.